When I had another fight with Daniel, I blocked him on every platform. As I was leaving, I overheard his friend trying to talk some sense into him. Feels like Sandra really means it this time. Why don't you go coax her a little? He laughed coldly. Same old game. She'll be begging me to take her back in less than 3 days. But 3 days passed. Then another 3. Still, I made no move. Eventually, Daniel couldn't sit still anymore. He came knocking on my door. Is it really that hard for you to just lower your head? Come on. Stop the drama. Open the door. I'm here to take you home. What he didn't know was, I was already on a flight to City G. What he really didn't know was, my decision to leave him wasn't made during that fight. Chapter 1. On my birthday, Daniel left without saying a word. I kept smiling, singing with everyone, and warmly greeting each guest. His friend too hesitated for a moment, then still explained, Sandra, Daniel has a stomach issue. He just went out to buy some medicine. I thought I should let you know. By the time he came back, I had already blown out the candles and made my wish. He walked up to me, a barely concealed smugness on his face, and casually asked, didn't wait for me to blow the candles. Huh? What did you wish for? Laughter erupted around us. Sandra and Daniel grew up together. She's had a crush on him since forever. I could guess her wish with my toes. Come on. They've been together for 7 years. Of course. She's wishing Daniel would marry her. Daniel Sue heard the chatter and let out a soft chuckle as he sat down beside me. Let me just say this, I'm not planning to get married this year. I raised my glass and smiled at him. What a coincidence. Neither am I. In an instant, the room fell silent. Everyone turned to look at me. I looked at Daniel's frozen expression, lifted my glass, and said with a gentle smile, Daniel, on every birthday from now on, I hope you, like today, won't be here. He snapped out of it, his face darkening, voice suddenly cold. Sandra-chan, can you not make a scene in front of all our friends? I just stepped out for a bit. Did you really have to act like this? I nodded sincerely. Yes, I did. The room was dead quiet. People began trying to smooth things over, but he stared at me coldly for a long while, then laughed in fury. Fine. I'll say it now, we're done. Take your bag and get out of the private room I booked. As I left, I heard his friend trying to talk him down. Feels like Sandra really means it this time. Maybe you should go coax her? He gave a cold laugh. Same old game. She'll come crawling back in 3 days. Tops. If I don't leave her hanging for at least a few days this time, I'll write my name backwards. What he didn't know was, I had no intention of coming back this time. And the thought of leaving him didn't begin today. Chapter 2. Daniel Sue and I had been childhood friends for 10 years. Since we learned to walk, we played together. Our parents were close friends. As far back as I can remember, I'd hear Aunt Sue say to my mom, that boy of mine runs to your house every day. He must like your Sandra-chan. If you ask me, let's just set up an arranged marriage between them now. I asked Daniel, what's an arranged marriage? His eyes lit up as he looked at me. It means I can come find you every day and never have to go home. Really? Even if we play until night, no one will tell us to go home? He nodded. Yep, when we grow up, we can always be together. That year, I was 7, Daniel Sue was 10. From that day on, I started following him everywhere. We ended up in different middle schools. I got out earlier, so I'd wait for him under the tree outside his school. 2 thuggish boys in tight pants and loafers whistled at me. I turned away and ignored them. They threw little rocks at me, furious. I grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it back. The thugs stopped laughing. One pulled a long stick from his backpack and walked toward me with a grim face. Terrified, I still held my ground and said, if you dare touch me, my brother will make you pay. He sneered. Great, but before that, I'll make you pay. He swung the stick down at me. My legs gave out. I fell, closed my eyes, then felt a sudden gust of wind. Oddly enough, it didn't hurt. Ah, ow, ow. Let go of me. Let go. I opened my eyes to see Daniel twisting the thug's wrist, his eyes sharp as ice. The thug gritted his teeth and shouted at his red-haired friend, get over here. This brat's asking for it. The gang surrounded Daniel. He gave a slight smirk, mocking and fearless. You think you're the only one with backup? As soon as he said it, His friends showed up, beating the thugs until they wailed. In the end, the thug knelt in front of him, crying, "Bro, from now on, you're my big bro." Daniel slung an arm around me and pointed at me, telling them, "Open your eyes and remember, this is Sandra. She's my sister. You better protect her. Got it?" He walked away with his gang, radiating confidence, even from a distance. He stood out. At that moment, I thought, my Daniel Gidge is the best person in the world. Maybe I started liking him that very day. He often told me that if I worked hard and got into a good high school, we could go to school together again. So I studied hard and was admitted to his top-tier high school as the top student. He was on the 6th floor. I was on the 1st. I tirelessly climbed those stairs just to see him. But then he didn't want me visiting anymore. He said he was in his final year, too busy. Way too busy. One weekend, I brought my homework to do with him. He glanced at me, annoyed. "I told you I'm busy. Do you not understand plain words?" So annoying. Tears streamed down my face. We had a big fight. He didn't try to comfort me. After a few days of Cold War, I gave in. I told myself, he's been good to me for years. He's acting like this now, probably because of pressure. I should understand him, not throw tantrums. After returning to school, I waited for him after night class, ready to apologize. The lights on the 1st floor were off. Only one classroom on the 6th floor was still lit. I looked up, wanting to check. That's when I saw him walk out of the classroom with a pale-skinned girl. For a split second, my heart skipped a beat. I watched them descend the stairs, step by step. Instinctively, I hid in the stairwell. "You're amazing." Daniel smiled. "What's amazing?" The girl blushed. "I mean, you're studying. You explained the problem I didn't understand so well. Now I get it." I couldn't listen anymore. I covered my ears tightly. Only when they walked far away did I dare to come out. That day, it rained hard, pouring down, blurring my vision. I couldn't see the road. I stumbled and fell into a puddle. No one helped me up. Looking up, I saw, in the distance, he was carrying her on his back. She was holding an umbrella. A clap of thunder fell near her neck. In that daze, I saw the past, me and him. Chapter 3. That night, I finally understood why he had changed so much. During the 3 years Daniel and I weren't together, he didn't wait for me. Instead, he let another girl slowly get closer to him. For a long time, I didn't try to contact him again. After his college entrance exams ended, he suddenly remembered that he still had a little sister like me. So, at the end of June, under the blazing summer sun, there he was again, standing beneath that old locust tree. The boy who hadn't appeared for so long. I walked past him, pretending not to see. He called out to me, his voice as gentle as ever. "Sandra Chan, didn't you see me? I've been waiting for you." It wasn't that I didn't see him, I just couldn't believe I was the one he was waiting for. I stopped in front of him. "Is there something you need?" He pulled out a thick stack of notes from his bag. "I heard you have placement exams this semester. I was too busy earlier, but I never forgot. Here, I compiled all of this for you. Study it, and you'll definitely get into the best class." Just like I did, I took the materials and replied calmly, "Thank you." As I was about to leave, he stepped in front of me and looked me up and down. His clean, handsome face suddenly came very close. That unexpected closeness, the fresh scent of laundry detergent from his shirt, it completely rattled me. I instinctively took a big step back. He let out a helpless laugh but wasn't angry. "It's been too long, we've grown distant. Are you mad at me? You haven't contacted me for a while." I was really stressed before the college exams and had a bad temper. "Let me apologize, okay?" "I'm sorry, Sandra, I really made you feel wronged." The tight string I'd been holding onto finally snapped. My eyes reddened despite myself. He hurriedly tried to wipe away my tears. I choked out. I didn't want to cry. But I couldn't help it. He shouldn't have come to comfort me. He especially shouldn't have understood the hurt I felt. And now look, my tears wouldn't stop. So embarrassing. But he patiently soothed me. Even said I looked pretty when I cried. Though I looked best when I smiled. Then he took me shopping, bought me gifts, and eventually coaxed me into feeling better. As we were about to part, he asked, "So, this week, can I help you with your schoolwork?" I lowered my head and quietly said, He gently patted my head. "Good girl, sleep early." After he left, I ran into a girl at the entrance to my building, a pale-skinned, slender girl. The streetlight cast her shadow long on the ground. It looked exactly like the silhouette I'd seen a month ago. She looked at me, calm and composed. "He didn't walk you home? We live close. There's no need." Her smile grew even brighter. "Daniel's so strange. He's willing to spend 2 hours walking me home in the suburbs, but won't spare 2 minutes to walk you across the street. I don't know you. Please move." "My name is Luna." She stepped aside, then turned back and said teasingly to my back, "You two really are the perfect brother and sister." "Sandra, don't you want to know why your good brother suddenly changed his personality?" "Sorry, I don't want to know." I walked straight to the entrance and stepped into the elevator without looking back. The moment the doors closed, I caught my reflection, eyes still slightly red. Chapter 4. It wasn't until the weekend. I got up early. Daniel used to be waiting downstairs before 9 a.m., but I checked the surveillance footage over and over. He never showed up. I waited all the way until noon. And still, he didn't come. I went to the bathroom and took a shower, the water pouring over me from head to toe. It was freezing. Afterward, I opened my tablet and focused on class and taking notes. If he didn't come, I'd just study on my own. It was my own stupidity. Why would I even be willing to wait for someone? I mocked myself like that when the doorbell suddenly rang. I froze for a moment, dropped my pen and rushed to open the door. To my surprise, Luna was standing outside. She was wearing a white dress, her jet black hair tied in a high ponytail. She looked fresh and youthful, but I really disliked her. I felt she was nothing like her appearance. "Little sister, your brother went to buy something. I came to see you first." I immediately tried to close the door, but she held it with quicker reflexes, raising her brow. "Little sister, you really need to learn some basic hospitality," I said coldly. "Sorry, I don't welcome uninvited guests like you." The elevator was rising, floor by floor. When it finally stopped at my level, Luna suddenly acted crazy and tried to force her way into my home. I didn't dare slam the door shut for fear I'd injure her hand and have to pay for it, so I shoved her back. Right then, the elevator doors opened. Luna's body staggered backward, and she was just about to fall, but someone caught her firmly. "It's not what you think. Daniel, please don't blame your sister." I froze and slowly looked up, and met his gaze, cold as an icy lake. He still dressed the same as before, white shirt, black sling bag, cool and clean. He held her tightly in his arms, eyes full of indifference as he looked at me. "What you did went too far." In a daze, I recalled the past. He used to shield me just like this, but now, he stood opposite me. "Sandra, apologize to Luna." He had never called me by my full name before. Suddenly, I felt deeply wronged. Why should I apologize? She barged into my house. I just pushed her back. "So you admit you pushed her?" He didn't listen to my explanation. That one sentence drained all my will to explain. It felt like the strength had been completely sucked out of me. I leaned against the door. Luna leaned into Daniel, gently swinging his arm. "Daniel, don't blame her, okay? I've been spending a lot of time with you lately. It's understandable she'd be upset. It's my fault, too. I should have explained it to her. She probably thought your affection as a brother had been taken by me. That's why she treated me this way." The more understanding she appeared, the more irrational I seemed. Daniel repeated himself. "Sister?" After a pause, he added, "She and I were never siblings." I suddenly looked into his eyes and asked, "Then what are we?" He avoided my gaze. His brows furrowed. Luna spoke up just in time. "It's my fault. You two have over a decade of history. I'm someone you've only known for a few months. How could I ever compare? I'll leave you two to talk. It's better if I step away." Daniel Sue grabbed her hand. "Don't go, Luna." There was pleading in his eyes. So Luna stopped. When she looked back at me again, Daniel's gaze was so unfamiliar it frightened me. "I'll say it one more time, apologize to Luna." "Never." Daniel's expression darkened. He stepped forward and grabbed me. I struggled with all my strength. In the shoving and pushing, I ended up falling hard onto the floor. The floor was cold, so cold it seeped into my bones. Daniel froze for a moment, then instinctively reached out to help me, but I jumped up suddenly. I don't need your help. Leave. I never want to see you again. Daniel got angry too. I never meant to help you. This shove? Consider it payback. Now we're even. Luna. Let's go. Chapter 5. When I got home, I finally broke down and cried. I had no one left to rely on. The person who had protected me for 10 years had now become someone else's support. Suddenly, I remembered something. I rushed back to my room and threw all the gifts Daniel had ever given me into a cardboard box. Opening my dresser drawer, I found the moon-shaped necklace he had given me for my 15th birthday, still kept in its original box. Like many teenage girls, I had read countless poems about budding love. I especially liked the line, "The moon in the sea is the moon in the sky. The one before my eyes is the one in my heart." I used to wait for him under the old locust tree. So I also liked, "The moon hangs on the willow's tip. We meet again after dusk." But unfortunately, Daniel never understood what I meant. He never took the time to read the heart hidden behind those lines. He just thought I liked the moon, so he gave me a moon-shaped necklace, something I once treasured more than anything. I now tossed aside like trash. I carried the box downstairs to throw it away and ran into my mom coming home. She spotted the necklace immediately. "Isn't this from Daniel? Sandra-chan, did you two have a fight?" I clung to my mom and cried for a long time. Later, from my room, I overheard her calling Aunt Sue. Then Daniel showed up at my door, wearing a fresh slap mark on his face. Chapter 6. Why did you throw away the gifts I gave you? Once something's given to me, it's mine to deal with however I want. He pointed at his cheek, annoyed. Thanks to you. I rolled up my sleeve, revealing a large bruise. Thanks to you, too. He froze for a second before realizing. That was when I pushed you. As he spoke, guilt filled his eyes. He reached out toward me. I stepped back. It doesn't even hurt. Spare me your fake sympathy. His hand lingered in the air for a long time. I've always been the delicate type. No matter if I was scolded for bad grades, or got a small injury, I'd always exaggerate a little and cry to Daniel. Even if it was just a torn hangnail, he'd patiently soothe me. In my memory, he was always the gentle, mature big brother. But somewhere along the way, he began to lose patience with me, with everything. This time, I really wanted to leave him. But suddenly, his eyes turned red. No matter how I tried to push him away, he stubbornly held my hand and dragged me downstairs. He bought medicine and gently applied it to my bruise. Eventually, I stopped resisting his touch, but I still kept my head high, refusing to speak to him. You're someone I've protected since we were little. I never allowed anyone to hurt you. His head was lowered. I couldn't see his face, but his voice trembled faintly. And now, the person who hurt you was me. I dug my nails into the palm of my other hand, trying not to cry. Sandra, I promise you, there won't be a next time. I'll never hurt you again for the sake of someone else. That day, we talked for a long time. We opened up to each other. He said, "Do you remember the joke our parents used to make when we were little?" I immediately thought of the arranged marriage. My face flushed. He took out the moon necklace and gently placed it back around my neck. Sandra's all grown up now, so I can finally keep my promise. I'm 18 now. When will you grow up? That was the moment my last wall finally crumbled. I let down all my guard, just like when we were kids. I pouted and called out, "Daniel Gidge." He raised a finger and softly pressed it against my lips. In that instant, the wind whispered, the trees swayed, the breeze carried his voice into my ears. He said, "I told you, we were never siblings." Chapter 7. When I turned 18, I was finally admitted to Daniel's university. I became his direct junior. On my first day, he took me to every club meetup. He said, "The person I waited 3 years for is finally here." Someone jokingly punched him. "Such a pretty little sister, you're a lucky guy." We should all learn from Daniel. While his girl was still in school, he made his move early. The rest of us are stuck single. Daniel turned to look at me and smiled gently. "Don't talk nonsense. Sandra hasn't said yes yet." Laughter and teasing followed. I felt a little dizzy from all the attention. Suddenly, he took my hand, gripped it tight, and looked at me with warm eyes. In that moment, it felt like all my teenage longings had finally become a song. From that day on, I became Daniel Sue's girlfriend, the one he kept closest to his heart. That year, on Valentine's, in the height of summer, by candlelight, in front of the tall glass windows, our shadows slowly merged into one. Outside, a wild wind picked up, in the flurry of falling petals. It was just me and him. That night, the courtyard was covered in crimson. He kissed my face and told me he would cherish me, that once I graduated, he would marry me. But during my final semester before graduation, he suddenly changed again, irritable, indifferent, distant. At first, I argued with him, but unlike before, he didn't try to make up. After many sleepless nights, I eventually caved and went to make peace. And just like that, as if nothing had happened, he was the same as always. It seemed like everything had gone back to normal. Maybe he just had a bad spell. But something had changed. He suddenly started smoking, drinking. We spent our days apart, each busy with our own lives. At night, we shared the same bed, the same pillow. He would exhaust me over and over until I passed out. But when I woke in the middle of the night, I'd always see him on the balcony, staring off into a place I couldn't reach. The cigarette in his fingers flickered on and off. The sky outside was caught between night and morning. He didn't sleep, and neither did I. He had something on his mind, so did I. But if he was my heartache, then what was he aching for? Chapter 8, February 15th, 2025. Like always, I returned to the home I shared with him, but he wasn't there. I figured he must have gone out drinking again and didn't even bother to tell me. I was angry, sure, but still prepared a drink to sober him up. The clock read 1:30 a.m. He always liked a big bowl of noodles when he got back, so I went to make him some. 2 a.m. came, still no sign of him. I called him. The first call didn't go through, then the second, and third, none connected. I checked his TikTok status, last seen a day ago. I messaged him on every platform. No reply, nothing. I sat on the sofa. Steam from the noodles slowly faded into the air. When the first ray of morning light appeared outside the window, my eyes stung sharply. That's when I finally accepted it. He was gone. No explanation, no reason. For 7 days straight, he disappeared. While editing my thesis, I kept in touch with Aunt Sue. No one knew where he was. And just when I was ready to move out, he came back. Chapter 9. I dropped my suitcase and walked straight up to him. Why did you leave? He said nothing. The belief that had been holding me together collapsed instantly. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I cried, screamed, broke down. Where did you go? Why did you leave without a word? Do you know how much I've suffered these past few days? No matter how hard I hit him, he stayed silent. Say something. Daniel, say something. I'm sorry. He reached out to wipe my tears. I slapped his hand away and stepped back in disbelief. You come back and just say sorry? I couldn't eat or sleep. I cried every night. No explanation, just a sorry? He sighed softly, eyes drifting past me. He stared out the window. The loneliness in his eyes looked just like the old days. Except this time, there was struggle too. I cursed him and dragged my suitcase to leave. He didn't stop me. This kind of breakup, so sudden and complete, was worse than death. I had to know why. So I went to confront him. When he saw me, he smiled. You're back? I'll make you some noodles. Same calm tone as always. At the table, we each ate our noodles. The steam stung my eyes so badly I almost cried. After dinner, he washed the dishes. I went back to editing my thesis. Sent the final draft to my advisor. Then he came up behind me and wrapped his arms around me. I missed you. His warm breath grazed my neck. My heart quivered. I let out a mocking laugh at myself. Sandra. Oh, Sandra. So soft-hearted. What will it take for you to truly grow up? What will it take for you to learn how to let go? His voice was so even, as if nothing had ever happened. He picked me up and carried me to the bedroom. You're back now. Don't leave again, okay? Chapter 10. He went to take a shower, leaving his phone on the bedside table. Suddenly, it buzzed several times. I picked it up. A girl saved in his contacts as Moon had messaged him. Moon. All these years, he'd given me moon-themed gifts. I thought it was because of those moon-filled love poems from my school days. But it wasn't. I opened the chat. Back then, I agreed to stay and not go abroad. But my family was too insistent. I had no choice. I didn't get your messages. I changed my number after moving. I thought you'd let go. Later I heard about you and Sandra-chan, so I didn't reach out. But Daniel, I know you still have feelings for me. I saw your private Instagram 7 days ago. After all these years, you never forgot me. Then a photo came in. I tapped it open. The account was named Moon Over the Boat. The post read, I did it with her again. I called her Moon. Pretended she was you. But in the dead of night, I looked at her profile and realized she can never replace you. Moon is one of a kind, irreplaceable. Then her last message. Daniel, are you coming over tonight? There's still something I didn't finish saying. I want to tell you in person. In that moment, I felt like I'd fallen into a glacier. Chapter 11. Daniel came out of the bathroom and looked at me. He walked over, touched my forehead. Why is your face so pale? Are you sick? Anywhere hurt? I shook my head. He handed me a towel, his hand brushing against mine. He looked surprised. So cold. Are you sure you're okay? Really, I'm fine. All right. Go shower. Call me if you feel unwell. I nodded and took his phone into the bathroom with me. The sound of the shower masked everything. I opened his private account, fingers trembling with cold. Scrolled to the most recent posts, dating back to the day after his college entrance exams. The first post read, You said you were going abroad. I was furious. We agreed to attend the same university. I knew you didn't like Sandra-chan, so I made up with her. Even convinced her to apply to the same school as me, but I regretted it. I realized I didn't want to be in the same school as her. I just wanted to see your reaction. Would you stay for me? Pain stabbed at my heart, breath catching in my throat. I remembered that day, the day after his exams, when he brought me review materials. I should have known. How could someone change so suddenly? Turns out, he used me to provoke Luna. Every post since then, every word was filled with longing for Luna. And I was her replacement. He didn't misunderstand my girlish poems. He didn't fail to see my love. The moon was never me. It was always Luna. I laughed through tears. Scrolled to the day I entered university. Sandra likes me. I've always known. That day we got together. She was so happy, but I wasn't. Still, I introduced her to everyone. I knew our mutual friends might tell you. Would you be angry if you heard? I just wanted to know, would you still feel something for me? All these years, you've never replied to a single message, but I still love you. Luna, what am I supposed to do with you? Chapter 12. Suddenly, the world spun. My breathing grew rapid. I pulled open the sliding door, my foot slipped and I fell hard, bracing against the floor. I gasped out one name. Daniel. The door opened quickly. He held his phone, face visibly anxious. Sandra. I was just about to tell you, something came up at work. I need to step out. He turned to leave, then paused, realizing what had happened. He walked over and helped me up. Our bathroom's a little slippery. I slipped once too. There's some ointment in the cabinet. Apply it yourself. I have to go. I said goodbye. He didn't hear. The door slammed shut with a bang, cutting him off from me completely. I walked to the window. His car pulled out of the garage. I watched as he drove farther and farther away from me. And then I whispered softly, Goodbye, Daniel. Goodbye, forever. Chapter 13. After finalizing my thesis, I threw myself into job hunting. 2 months later, I finally received an offer in City G. Once I signed the contract online, I breathed a long sigh of relief. My roommate said, Defense is in 7 days. I've been wanting to tell you something, but I didn't want to affect your focus. In all my years with Daniel, I'd experienced every flavor of love, sweet, bitter, sour. But it wasn't until I turned 21 that I finally understood. There was never love between us. It had always been one-sided. Only me. All the memories felt like a dream now. And now that I was awake, the bond had naturally ended. It took me a long time to accept that truth. So now, nothing feels unacceptable, and nothing can break me anymore. Even the day I discovered his hidden Instagram, I still spoke to him calmly. No shouting, no tears. There's no grief deeper than the death of hope. And that's what this was. Nothing related to Daniel could touch me anymore. Go ahead, I said. You and your boyfriend haven't talked in a while. I know you've been busy with your thesis and job stuff, but I think he's seeing someone else. Just as I expected, Luna had returned. Of course he was with her. That girl's not even prettier than you, just a bit fairer. I really don't get what that jerk is thinking. It's okay. My roommate stared at me, frustrated. You're seriously okay with this? You still like that jerk? Wake up! I nodded firmly. I'm awake. Really, I've woken up. Chapter 14. The day before my defense was my birthday. Daniel showed up again. After so long. I know you've been busy with your thesis. I didn't want to bother you. But today's your birthday. I had to spend it with you. He took me back to his place. I smiled and accepted his gift. Thanks. Aren't you gonna open it? You used to always be eager to see what I got you. I placed the box on my vanity, opened it. Inside, a luxury necklace. This time, not a moon, a star. He said, actually, I think stars suit you more, Sandra. Your eyes are beautiful like the stars. The moon, there's only one. But stars, countless as they are, only exist to orbit the moon. A good gift. I tucked it into a drawer, the same one that held all the gifts he had given me over the years. He chuckled. Into your treasure drawer again? Huh. Looks like everything I've ever given you is in there. You really treasure things well. Sandra. Yes, I did. I kept them all in one place, so that one day, I could throw them all away at once. That night at the KTV, we argued. But this time, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I returned to the place we once called home, wheeled out the suitcase I'd packed long ago, tossed out that little box I had once treated like a treasure chest, and without a second thought, boarded a plane to City G. Chapter 15. On Sandra's first day in City G, Daniel came home. At the trash bin by the front door, he saw a familiar little box. He paused, walked closer. The loopy stickers on it, exactly where Sandra used to place them. He looked up. The light on the 6th floor was still on. Sandra was probably upstairs. How old is she now? Still throwing things away like a kid every time we fight. He was annoyed and had no plans to coax her. He thought he had spoiled Sandra-chan far too much all these years, even if she had been a bit more obedient lately. She still embarrassed him on her birthday. Thinking that Daniel didn't want to go home anymore, he pulled out his phone and texted Luna. But as he was leaving, he went back and took the box with him, then got into the taxi that would take him to Luna. After all, this was the girl he had waited 7 years for. And once the moonlight returns, every star dims into nothing. They had a good time for a while, working by day, tangled in each other by night, on the couch, in bed. Sometimes, they went out drinking. Alcohol loosened tongues and opened hearts. But one night, he drank too much. While vomiting over the toilet, he unconsciously muttered one word. Sandra. From the bathroom door, came the sound of a glass shattering. His drunkenness cleared a little. He spent the whole night coaxing Luna. But Luna wasn't as easy to please as Sandra. She stayed mad. Daniel Su had no choice but to grab his credit card and take her to a luxury boutique. Only after buying her 2 handbags did she finally smile. Still, she wasn't like Sandra, who would have lit up with childlike joy. She pouted. I feel like the overseas versions have better quality. Whatever. I guess this'll do. That day, Daniel suddenly found the woman beside him unfamiliar. Her face no longer matched the sweet, soft girl in his memories. Chapter 16. From that day on, Daniel didn't dare drink too much. Life could have gone on, peacefully and quietly. But then one night, he came down with a fever. Luna wanted to go clubbing. He refused. She got mad, so he dragged himself out with her. After coming back, Daniel felt awful. I'm not feeling well. Barely ate dinner. Now with the alcohol, my stomach hurts. Can you make me a bowl of noodles? Luna was editing photos. She didn't even look up. You had all that energy to dance. Cooking noodles should be nothing. You do it. I'm posting on Instagram. Daniel, miserable, pulled out a thermometer. He tried to stay calm, begged her for that bowl of noodles. Luna snapped. Stop ruining my mood, okay? You already ruined my vibe with your complaints. I don't even want to post anymore. Daniel lost it. What the hell is more important, your post or me? It was the first time he ever raised his voice at her. Luna immediately threw her phone. Daniel, who the hell do you think you're talking to? Let's be clear, I came back because you begged me. My boyfriend abroad took me to high society events every day. Being with you, my quality of life's gone way down. I didn't even complain. So what right do you have to yell at me? Daniel's head was spinning. In pain, dizzy, exhausted, he clenched his jaw. But still, he gave in. Fine. Post your pictures first. What pictures? You've ruined my mood. And just like that, Daniel Sue suddenly remembered Sandra. Chapter 17. Ever since that night he got drunk, Daniel tried not to think about her. But he couldn't help it. Their history was too long, her traces were everywhere in his life. At first, she only came to him passively, in memories, in habits, in déjà vu. But this time, he thought of her actively, deliberately. He thought, if it were Sandra Chan here, she would have noticed he wasn't feeling well without him saying a word. She was always so attentive, always took care of him with such care. He remembered once, when he had worked overtime for an entire week, and collapsed from exhaustion. Sandra had cried with heartbreak, sitting beside him. That memory led him to recall something she used to say all the time. The highest form of loving someone is to feel pain when they're in pain. Chapter 18. From that day on, a wall grew between him and Luna. Neither of them spoke. One night, Daniel returned to the neighborhood where he and Sandra used to live. He stood beneath their old apartment building and, suddenly, felt nervous. He didn't dare go up, didn't dare get close. They were broken up now. Yes, but he had deliberately left that apartment for her, as a form of compensation, for the years he owed her. The light on the 6th floor was still on. She was probably still living there, and just knowing that brought him a strange comfort. Back then, no matter how late he came home drunk, Sandra always left a light on for him, and a steaming bowl of noodles, and a cup of something to sober him up. The thought made his eyes sting. His heart ached. He clutched his chest. Why did it hurt? He should be happy. 7 years of regret, finally fulfilled. Sandra was just a stand-in, that's all. Then why did it hurt? Why? In those long, silent nights, did he wake up feeling restless? Why? Lying beside Luna, did he feel a hollow, indescribable ache? He used to ignore it. Now he didn't dare ask himself why. But the answer was already screaming to be heard. Daniel Sue suddenly staggered a step forward, then bolted from the complex, got in a taxi. He had to get back to Luna. But when he opened the door, Luna sat on the sofa, face dark, next to her, a familiar box. She asked, "Why didn't you throw away Sandra's stuff?" Chapter 19. He walked over. "I paid for all of it. Would be a waste to throw it out. You brought it back just to disgust me? Or do you still have feelings for her?" Still have feelings. Those words hit his brain like thunder. The truth he had been so afraid to admit was now staring him in the face. He lowered his head. "Luna, let's just live our lives in peace. Don't ask anymore." Luna, seeing his reaction, became even more certain. In a fit of rage, she threw the box to the ground. It cracked open. The contents spilled everywhere. Daniel's heart clenched. He knelt and began picking up every necklace, every postcard. One by one, Luna froze. She watched him gather them, gently, carefully, holding them in his arms. Suddenly, she panicked. She screamed, "Daniel, don't you dare pick those up." But Daniel didn't respond. He had always given in to her. But this time, because of Sandra, he didn't. Luna's eyes burned with fury. She yanked a necklace from his hands and tore it apart. "You can't pick these up. You hear me? You're over. Done. The two of you are completely over. You can't think of her. You can't touch anything of hers." Daniel remained calm. He didn't get angry, just stared at her. Luna was scared. For the first time, she backed down. Okay, Daniel, let's not fight anymore. I'm tired. Let's just go to bed. She got up and headed toward the bedroom. But then she heard his voice behind her. Soft, barely a whisper, but it hit her like a sledgehammer. Luna, let's break up. I've realized the person I love has always been Sandra. Chapter 20. 2 months into my grind in City G. I lay on my bed chatting on the phone with my best friend. G City pays so well. I just got my first paycheck. Come visit me. I'll cover everything. Her cheerful voice came through the line. Girl, we're totally in sync. I just got off the plane. Send me your location. I'm on my way. I jumped out of bed. You're too fast. I'll book the restaurant right now. I left my little 30 square meter apartment humming a tune. Summer arrived not long after. As soon as my friend Shasha arrived, she started gushing. Said G City's vibes must be magic. I looked more radiant than ever. I giggled. Maybe it's just money that's nourishing me. You should quit that job in H City and come crash here with me. I can't. My parents are still over there. She took a sip of red wine, then seemed to remember something. But hey, one of my coworkers is transferring to G City. His name's Colin. That name sounded really familiar. I instantly pulled out my high school graduation photo, pointed at the tall guy in the back row. This one? She glanced at the photo, and her eyes popped. That's him! He's the hottest guy at our company. Wait, you were in the same class as this hunk in high school and didn't even fall for him? How could you even mess with Daniel when you had Colin around? Sure, Daniel was your department crush. But if Colin had gone to our college, he would have been the campus crush. I rubbed the tip of my nose. Yeah, looking back now, Colin was pretty good looking. But back then, I only had eyes for Daniel. I didn't even glance at anyone else. You two know each other? Obviously, he's my colleague. I even have him on Instagram. I blinked. Bestie. Send him to me. Chapter 21. Colin arrived in G City, and I went to pick him up. I even helped complete his onboarding paperwork, totally of my own accord, trying to bridge the gap. I brought up our high school days. Turns out, this guy was the classic cold type. He ignored me a few times until I mentioned we were high school classmates. Then he gave me a closer look. It's you. It's me. What an odd thing to say. I couldn't help but ask. What about me? At last, a faint smile broke through his icy expression. You used to be quiet, always kept to yourself. You're so enthusiastic now I barely recognized you. I let out a dry laugh. Gotta be enthusiastic to survive the grind. But yeah, I've changed a lot. There are sides of me you've never seen. Want to? By the way, I'm single. His gaze deepened. How would I go about seeing that side? Small bar tonight, couple drinks, and I'll tell you, he showed up as promised. A few rounds in, my face started to feel hot, and I wasn't filtering anything I said anymore. You used to be so cold to me, honestly. I thought you wouldn't come tonight. What changed? He looked at his glass, the amber liquor glowing against his fingers. Because you're single, and so am I. We played truth or dare. I lost. He asked. Back in high school, which guy left the strongest impression on you? You. He laughed softly. Liar. Guess you're not drunk enough. I looked at him seriously. It really was you. He held my gaze. The bar lights cast shadows over his brows, but the fire in his eyes flickered unmistakably. And suddenly, I was taken back to that rainy night in senior year, when he looked at me through a curtain of rain just like this. I never carried an umbrella, always prepared to get soaked, but he, aloof as ever, had handed me one. His white shirt was soaked, clinging to the outline of his toned chest. If not for Daniel Sue, I think I might have loved Colin. Chapter 22. I kept losing at the dice game. He asked a lot of questions. I barely remember what I said by the end. I vaguely recall tugging on his tie and insisting we go to a hotel. You're drunk. Let's talk when you're sober. Colin, are you even a man? Don't play the gentleman act now. I whispered into his ear with a laugh. This is the other side of me. His voice was husky. Okay. I could barely walk straight. He carried me to the room. I wrapped my arms around his neck. Wanna see that other side? He leaned in, pine and whiskey on his breath. His eyes darkened. I do. Then, slowly, he reached for my pearl earring. The cold metal brushed my earlobe, sending shivers down my spine. He suddenly flipped the switch, and I stumbled back, knocking over a glass of water. It splashed on his pant leg. He chuckled, low and lazy, like moonlight slipping across ice. I scrambled to wipe the water off his suit. He crouched, voice deep and seductive. Don't bother wiping it off. These clothes won't be on long. Chapter 23. When his fingers grazed the butterfly bone at the small of my back, a tingling rush swept over me. I bit his shoulder through his shirt. He chuckled. You a cat? No, a wolf. I pulled his tie tight and kissed him, then froze. He smiled. Scared? And no. He pushed me down hard and tore off his tie. Turning my head, I caught a glimpse of his arms, taut and caging me against the bed. Colin. Fear crept in, but he grabbed my wrists, pinning them gently to the pillow. Don't be afraid. His breath was hot against my collarbone. There's something you didn't know. I liked you back then, when you said you were applying to Chuan University. I tore up my guaranteed admission letter to Tsinghua or Peking. I wanted to go with you. Then I found out you had a childhood crush. You were applying to be with him. So I gave up. All these years, I never imagined those feelings could come back. Suddenly, the memories clicked into place. No wonder he, the coldest guy in class, stood in the rain for me. No wonder he always gave me extra breakfast when I skipped mine. No wonder I never lacked a pen, he always had one ready. Even in PE class, he somehow had a spare water bottle for me. None of it had been coincidence. Suddenly, I wanted to cry. After everything, every heartbreak, every goodbye, I finally saw clear skies. Tears welled up. He leaned down and kissed them away. Don't cry. I'll make you happy. Chapter 24. When I woke the next day, there were several missed calls from unknown numbers. The calls had started at 2 a.m. and kept going into the morning. Who the heck called me that many times? I hadn't pissed anyone off since coming to G City, and it wasn't a work day. No one from the office should be bothering me. Colin kissed my forehead and walked over with breakfast. He glanced at the screen. Area codes from H City. Is that someone you know? H City? Instantly, I sobered up. I looked again, closely, and just like that, memories I'd buried came flooding back, like a lightning bolt on a clear day. It was Daniel. Why was he calling? How did he get my new number? I blocked the number immediately. Nothing. Probably one of those Myanmar scam calls. Answer one and they'll steal your soul. Colin and I were inseparable. Our feelings intensified fast. G City's rainy season came in suddenly, harsh and relentless. The downpour turned convenience store signs into glowing blurs. On a Friday, after work, I sent a voice message as I walked out of the office. Hey, your favorite girl is off work. Miss me? I did. A cold, familiar voice replied. From behind me, I froze, whirled around, and choked on the sudden wave of tobacco smoke. Daniel had appeared out of nowhere, holding an umbrella, a lit cigarette between his fingers. The red ember blinked faintly, like an old scar flaring back to life. Your new number was hard to find, but your workplace? That was easy. Chapter 25. After breaking up with Luna, Daniel rushed to the apartment he once shared with Sandra. The light on the 6th floor was still on. It felt like Sandra Chan was waiting for him to come home. He clutched the box of keepsakes tightly, racing up the stairs. But when he raised his hand to knock, he hesitated. Pride got in the way. After standing there for a while, he finally spoke at the door. Is it really so hard to just give in a little? Come on. Stop being stubborn. Open the door. I'm here to bring you home. He wanted to bring her back to their childhood home, to meet his family, as his girlfriend, and if she was willing, even as his wife. But the door never opened. Daniel thought maybe his tone was still too stiff. So he stood there longer, running through every way to apologize in his head. He had so much to say. He would start with a real apology for not recognizing his love until it was too late. He would tell her that he loved her deeply. The light was still on, for him. Surely, if he softened up a bit, she'd forgive him. He poured his heart out at the door. Still, no response. Instead, the door across the hallway creaked open. Kid, No one lives there anymore. Stop shouting. It's late. You're disturbing the neighbors. Daniel froze. It took him a while to fumble out his keys, his hands trembling. Back when Sandra was still around, she never let him use his own key. She'd always say she wanted him to feel what it was like to have someone waiting at home. So every time he came back, she was the one to open the door. But now, he stepped in, tearing the place apart. Sandra was gone. Even the table had collected a thin layer of dust. It hadn't been lived in for a long time. For once, the always composed Daniel lost control. He frantically asked everyone he could about Sandra's whereabouts. All the way here, he hadn't been afraid. But now, realizing she had truly left him, only now did he taste the bitter flavor of fear and regret. He didn't sleep that night. Sandra's phone never connected, so he stormed into her university counselor's office. Only after causing a scene did he finally get a lead. He booked a flight immediately and appeared before her. Chapter 26. When he stubbed out his cigarette, I noticed his left ring finger. He was still wearing our couple's ring. The simple silver band he once called childish now gleamed coldly under the rainy night. Mine had been tossed out with the rest of his things. I didn't say anything and turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. His palm was hot against the pulse in my arm. Aren't you going to say anything? At least let me know you're okay. We've broken up. There's no need for any of this. He rolled up his sleeve, revealing in 4-port. I'm sick. Standing in the rain's not great. Can we talk in a cafe? See a doctor if you're sick. Why come to me? Daniel's Adam's apple bobbed. He bent over, coughing hard. Once a man of pride and poise, now his suit was wrinkled like last night's leftovers. Medical tape clung to his collar. Unshaven, gaunt, he reached out to tuck a strand of wet hair behind my ear. You used to worry so much when I was sick. You'd be heartbroken. You don't care anymore? I turned my head away. We ended things. You ended them. Don't humiliate yourself now. I raised my umbrella, ready to leave, but he held on, then froze. His eyes locked onto my left ring finger. Where did you get that ring? Just then, a car honked softly from the curb. Colin's Maybach glided into view. The window rolled down, revealing his sharp, distant gaze. He stepped out, holding an umbrella. A moonstone ring gleamed on his left ring finger, matching mine. I saw it, and so did Daniel. Chapter 27. Colin spoke first, voice wrapped in G-City's damp mist. Mr. Sue, your 4 is bleeding. Daniel finally realized his grip had been too tight. A dark red line snaked through the transparent tube. He recoiled like he'd been shocked. In that moment, I glimpsed the folded paper sticking from his jacket pocket. I caught the words gastric bleeding. Should I call an ambulance? Colin asked coolly. You don't look well. I'd hate for something serious to happen. He reached for his phone. I stopped him. Ignore him. Let's go. As I turned, Daniel's hoarse voice chased me through the rain. Do you remember the first day we got together? You were so happy. I was, too. Daniel, stop pretending. I saw your private Instagram. That was the day I made up my mind to leave. Daniel staggered back, umbrella frame clanging against a lamppost. His eyes turned hollow. I think he remembered what I'd told him back then, when Luna showed up at my door, and we had our worst fight, when he came begging to make up, and I warned him clearly, if you ever hurt me again for Luna, I swear, I'll never come back. Now, both of us knew, there truly was no going back. The day I found out he'd gone missing because of Luna, the day I learned his indifference, his carelessness, was all because of her. The 7 years of memories documented in his Instagram, all for Luna. That was when our story ended. A fairy horn echoed through the rain. Colin got in the car, ready to drive, but Daniel rushed to the passenger side, pressing his palms to the window. He was crying uncontrollably in the middle of the street. I'm not ready to let go. Sandra, it's been over a decade for us. I know I messed up. I'm begging you, one last chance. Just one. His voice cracked. His eyes burned red. Some passers-by were moved, whispered among themselves. But not me. Not a single tear fell. Pain only cuts deep when it lands on your skin. Never pity those who never tasted your suffering. I pried his fingers off one by one. My voice was steel. There's no chance left between us, not even half a one. And please, don't disturb me or my boyfriend again. At that moment, Colin stepped on the gas. The car pulled away. In the rearview mirror, Daniel chased us in the rain. At the second traffic light, he collapsed, kneeling in the street, head bowed low. Colin glanced at me. He looks pathetic. Want me to go back? Absolutely not. Keep driving. Don't look back. A faint smile tugged at Colin's lips. All right. No looking back. Eyes forward. Life is long and winding. If you keep turning back, how will you ever reach the light ahead? We must believe. After enduring the darkest nights, our own light will come.